Welcome back, awesome Action Toy fans and subscribers. I'm reviewing today, some 1/18 scale German World War II figures. These are actually made by Hiya, who do the Aliens and the Predator 1/18 scale. But these are old Hiya toys from 2013, and Hiya have definitely improved. Because this is quite shocking just looking through the packaging in places. But I got these for very cheap here in China, so I'm not going to complain. I'm going to open both of these and review them. They're not worth a great deal anyway. Well, not that I've seen anyway, so I'm not too worried about that. So I've got the Commander figure and a Submachine Gun. There are actually 6 figures in this range. I could buy the other 4 since they're cheap, but I want to see what the quality is like on these. The actual heads look pretty appalling, and the paintwork is not great either on the flesh. It's coming off, you can see by the wrists on both of these, and maybe you can see in here, or maybe you can't. Maybe it's more difficult to see here, but on his wrist here, you can see a little bit. It's coming off, and the head is quite shocking. This one, it looks like almost the same head, but he's looking to the top right. The guns look quite nice. This one's got a submachine gun, a couple of stick grenades. This one has got same submachine gun, couple of stick grenades. He's got his binoculars, and there's a base in both of these. Now there is some writing on the back, like a bio. This guy is Wilhelm Weiss, attached to the German Herds Group in the Eastern Front, rank lieutenant, and he's got his weapons, and he's been serving since 1940, got promoted in 1941, blah, 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 blah. But I won't embarrass myself trying to pronounce a lot of those words there, because they've got German words there. Okay, so I will go in rank and open the Commander first, and let's see what he's like. If these are decent plastic and they got, you know, potential, then maybe I'll buy the other ones, purely because I can swap the heads around, I can repaint. Well, I should have to swap the heads around and repaint. Okay, so he has a base inside, and he's got a couple of stick grenades and the gun we can see in there. Okay. Ooh, what is that? And something came off the gun already. Okay, on the back it has a little, the pad, it's just a little clip, so it'll clip back on. But the gun is very weak plastic, and that is not going to hold particularly well. The gun's quite flimsy. It looks nice, but it's a little bit like some of the G.I. Joe guns, where they look like the actual toys, not guns. A bit too small, or too thin maybe for the figure. The stick grenades look okay. The guns, have a look at the painting. It's like a silver and maybe a black, like a two-tone. It will suffice, but I'm not a great fan of that. The gun looks nice, just that I wish it was a bit more bulky, a bit bulkier. Grenades do look pretty good. More sturdy, two-tone, like a brown and a grey stick grenades. Those are nice. What was that? His hat came off. We have a base here, just says Hiya, made in China. On the back, hexagonal. Is it hexagonal? Yeah, hexagonal base. So the Commander figure. So his hat does come off. It is a hard plastic, and it fits on quite nicely on his head. Okay, so let's just stand him up there. Stands up relatively easily outside of the box. Let's try again. Get a better view there. Okay, so stick grenades acceptable. Gun, yeah, is all right. But I'd want to get something a bit more sturdy than that. Hat comes off. Let's have a look at his sculpt. He's got a very narrow, long face. Not a great head sculpt, but it will suffice. You can see maybe there, it's okay. Maybe a wash and a touch up would do nice on that. binoculars come off, but it's a plastic strap, so you'll always be in that strange position. They look quite cool. What else he's got here? Okay, other stuff is, I tell a lie, there is a Luger pistol. Is it a Luger? I think it's a Luger. It looks like a Luger pistol in his holster. And this is actually rather nice. This is the highlight so far. This is a really nice Luger with a brown wooden handle. And the rest is in like a gun grey. That's really nice. And that fits in his holster. Another thing I can see just straight away taking him out is that he has a gap. Oops, let me put it over here. I don't want to lose that. He has a gap in the side of his body, which you can see there, which is not really glued well. So it'll be easy to take him apart if you want to get the parts. Let's look at his articulation. So head, he has a left and a right. He has no up and down, or there's a bit of movement side to side, but not enough to say it's articulated. It should just be a, I don't want to break this, but okay, yeah, just a ball joint and a head, so easy to swap the heads around if need be, which is probably what you want to do. Waist, oh, he does have a waist turn, but he's going to come apart, I think, if I keep doing that. Will he come apart? Yeah, he would eventually. There's no forwards and backwards. Shoulders. He gets over the 180, so that's decent enough. They rotate. Let's find his arm bend. And his arm bend is not great. He gets under 90 degrees on his bend, but he can surrender to the Allied forces. Now, if you've been watching the Marauder Gunrunners stuff on Kickstarter, they got like their World War II stuff, so you can actually build Germans or you can compare. Obviously, Marauders can be better than this. This is 5 years old already, or 6 years old rather. Let's have a look at his wrists. So they go outwards, pretty good. And then he doesn't really get much on the downwards, inwards. Just a little bit there. And this one is that way, so he gets really good like that. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Look, that's like, ugh, I can't even do it with my hand. And downwards he goes really far as well, which is great. Legs, we know, I can see already that his coat will get in the way. He won't go very far outwards. He won't go very far forwards or backwards. He does have a double knee joint, which is quite hilarious because his wide pantaloon pants here have a pin all the way buried down his side. It makes it quite easy, or rather quite difficult, to pop it out and pop it back in the correct position. Not a particularly tight bend, but is adequate. Ankles, he has tiptoe and he has upwards. He doesn't have left or right, but he can turn. And there is no thigh swivel. Articulation's okay. Let's look at the sculpt. Trousers are pretty nice, but I don't like the holes for the double knee joint pin on the trousers there. The jacket's okay. The paint is okay on the jacket. Just needs some shading, but the paint on the flesh is already nice. It's rubbing off when it was inside the package. It's not the best, but it's decent. The hat looks pretty cool. And then the highlight is this Luger pistol. Let me see how he holds his weapons. Let's try his Luger first, because that's like the highlight for me anyway. He has got one loose finger, but I'm struggling to get it into the actual correct part by the trigger there. Okay, that's acceptable the way he holds his Luger. It doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty cool. Stick grenades. Since he has two, let me look at both his hands, because the hands, are they opposites? The hands could almost be opposites. Not quite of each other. A little bit loose in the hand, or this one. It's not really made for something as fine as the, as thin as the shaft of the stick grenade. But again, it's acceptable. He looks pretty good. And then his submachine gun, and that's the back of the stock there. That's going to come off, but that does fold, which is nice. You can put that back down there and take this off, or you can take that off. I think I prefer it without the stock on. In so many movies you saw as a kid, they don't actually have the stock on them. Well, not that I remember anyway. Let me see, how can he hold this? He wants that by his right hand. Fingers are a bit too stiff for my liking. You get scared you might break the fingers if you're going to force something in. Again, his stock's flying off. Okay, but he does get his finger into the trigger part there. Now the awkward part now is, how is he going to hold this properly? Can he in fact do it? I'm not sure his articulation is going to be adequate enough. Oh, I stand corrected. He can hold it pretty decently, like a guard position, but not really for firing it, unless he's going to turn his body to the side. Put his hat back on. Hat's pretty decent as well. Can I make him do that a bit lower? Okay, that looks a bit better. So it's pretty decent. It's not a bad figure, to be fair. It's not fantastic. Definitely when you want to be touching up or using for parts for customizing, unless you want to collect all 6 in this sort of German range. But it's pretty cool. I paid 60 RMB. I'm not sure how much that is in other currencies. Not a lot though, trust me. And do I think it's worth 60 RMB? I think for the hat and for the Luger, I wouldn't pay 60 separately for them, but you know, those are the highlights, and maybe the stick grenades. It's not bad, you know, for fodder, to do customs or use for something else. Pretty decent, not bad. Okay, let's look at the other one now. I won't look at his weapons since they're exactly the same, but I will look at the figure. Okay, let me just look at this. Sorry, before I do that, let's look at this guy's binoculars. Decent size. Can he hold them decently? Maybe not. Let's have a look. Oh, I might stand corrected here. Let me get him to hold it first before I put the strap over his head. Again, his fingers are so stiff, it's not easy to hold. Got to bend the fingers, and I hate bending fingers on figures if they're not rubbery, because you don't want to get that breaking. Ah, he does do that pretty nicely, if I'm honest. Not bad. You can have it down with the strap. Pretty good, to be fair. Much better than I thought it'd be with the binoculars. Okay, let's open the other one. Now, to be honest, I didn't think that the Commander came with the same gun as this guy. Otherwise, I'd have bought a different guy to this one. Because they have the Commander, the Submachine Gunner, which is this guy. They have a Machine Gunner, Assistant Gunner, Rifleman A, and Rifleman B. But never mind. I may get the others, but that'll be in a paycheck in the future. So let's see. Yeah, gun's the same. He pops out. Ooh, hello. I'll get that base later since it's the same. Let's have a look. His hat does come off, and the head sculpt is slightly different, but they could be twins. You might not be able to tell the difference on the camera, but there's a slight difference. But they could be twins. Nice helmet. Quite secure on his head. I like that. Let's have a look. He's got a knife here. Does this, or bayonet? I think that comes out. Let's have a look. Yes, it does. Well done, Hiya. That's fixed. Whatever these are. This is not entirely sure. Perhaps someone who's expert on war could tell me what this part is here. This little tube thing on his back, but that does come off as well. Articulation, again, not great on the legs, that way, but all the other articulation will be exactly the same, I would imagine. Yeah. Again, a little gap on the body by the crack there, but he's decent enough. If you want to get some cheap Germans, some cheap Nazis maybe, I don't know, some cheaper fodder for your army or for enemies, or to go against the marauders, or to join your marauder army, give more variety, these guys are pretty good. The hat is pretty decent again. Okay, let's get a size comparison. I'll put them side by side with the commander. Let's put the hats on. Now, if I use G.I. Joe, yes, I do have some G.I. Joe, even though you've never seen them on my channel. I do have one which I do have a couple actually reviewed, but not published the review yet. I'll use Shipwreck. So he's a modern one. We get an idea of scale. They are a tad taller maybe, but they do scale really well. If I use Miriam or Mariam, I forgot which name here is, from Zombie Lab, she is a tall 1/18 scale. You can see that she is slightly taller. She'll stand up for me. She's a great figure, this one. If I use, who should I use? Let me use Black Widow. Another great figure. And again, you see that it all scale all pretty damn well. So, yeah, that's good. I just want to try one more thing before I end this video. Let me see. Who shall I take? Okay, so if I've got Acid Rain figure here, and I'm going to take his head off. And let me see if I can do a straight swap with the head. Neck is a bit too long perhaps, and the hat won't really fit on afterwards, which is a shame. But if you were to make that fit, that would be a far more menacing figure. And maybe this hat will fit in that. It's too narrow again, this helmet. Oh, actually it's not. It's quite close. I'd be tempted to make some casts of the heads here and then file them down so you could fit the hat on top, get gas marks troopers and paint them. That would look pretty cool. Okay, so these are Ourwar World War II Hiya soldiers, Germans. They're not great, but if you found them cheap like I did, then it's definitely worth going for. I may get the other 6. I'll see what my budget's like towards the end of the month, towards my next salary, and decide if I'm going to get them or not. Because they're not like you must have, but they are pretty nice to have, and the customs potential is pretty cool, pretty good with them, and also for some part swapping too. Okay, so I hope you liked the video. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back soon with more awesome action videos for you. Stay happy and keep collecting. Bye-bye.